The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, Castlevania Season 2.
Shall we play a game?
You've got several things to do. You've got work, kids in school. What do you do when it's all over?
How do you hand something from one player to another?
Dark soul lights. Turn on the TV, pick up the controller and play some games with the
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan, the video game podcast that watches video game TV shows. I am your host, Caleb Schweiss.
Caleb Craig.
And Cameron.
And today we are going to be discussing the awesome Castlevania Season 2. Spoilers, we all liked it a lot.
Yep.
Going to be diving into that, getting our thoughts off. I've got some notes about what took place. We'll talk with Craig a little about like the canon, because we've all only played one. Well, Cameron and I have only played Symphony of the Night, right? That's the only Castlevania game you played.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
to
one I played.
That's part of the canon. So
Yeah, so we'll talk about that, kind of where this takes the canon as well for the show. But yeah, cool. It's your first episode of Nude Clan. Just listen to all of it. So got a lot of good shit.
just listen to all of it.
Yeah, just don't worry about it. Okay, so what have you guys been? What have you been up to this week? What have you been playing, Craig?
Let's see. This week I played a little bit of Borderlands 3.
How's that?
It's pretty sweet so far. I picked the Beastmaster guy. His name is Flack. There's a lot more comedy in this one, I feel, than the other ones. Just like already. It's pretty sweet. I have like I'm the Beastmaster, so I have like a pet skag that I have running around with me. He'll like attack dudes for me. He'll like come and defend me. I can use my super to make him like double in size and like freak the fuck out on dudes.
Nice.
He's useful as a distraction. Like I can get certain abilities that make it so that whenever I hit enemies, it'll start healing my pet, or whenever my pet hits an enemy, it'll start healing me. Get like abilities where like if anybody hits my pet, then they take damage for it, stuff like that. It's pretty fucking sweet so far.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I was never into those games as much.
Yeah, I mean, I played the second one, but that's pretty much all I've done in the Borderlands.
Yeah, I mostly got it because my brother really likes those games, and he wanted to play it with me, so that's why I got it.
So you guys have been co-oping it?
Yeah. And then I played some Astral Chain. Bought that. It's pretty good so far. I really dig it.
That's the platinum one, right?
Yeah, that's the platinum.
Did you have that in the last vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one he thought I was going to win.
How did it get so fucked?
I don't know.
I guess it was second place, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was... Yeah, that's all right, respectable.
And then I played some Sekiro as well. And that game is rough.
Oh, why'd you play Sekiro?
Because it was winning the vote. That's why.
Oh.
And because it was currently on sale for like 25% off. So I was like, well, might as well get it now instead of later.
Yeah, that's... So, man, poor Cameron. Vote's over, by the way. I guess we can do this. Sekiro, 47%. Astral Chain, 36%. Wolfenstein Youngblood, 9%. And Judgment, 7% of the vote. So, Cameron, it's... You just get shit on every time, man. It's
because
like,
he picks like
Because our
the
listeners,
basic bitch shooter game.
our listeners
that's
just
always
like
the new thing.
a certain type of game, and that's just what's gonna win.
I mean, did you honestly want to play Wolfenstein Youngblood?
No, it was
over,
more like
every other thing that had come out so far.
It was more like well, number one, Wolfenstein Youngblood just barely came out too, and I don't know, I owned it. So
do you own it?
Yeah, because it came with my graphics card.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You told me.
So I was like, oh, well, I have this game. I already own it, so might as well nominate it.
I think it's just a Calebocracy here. Like, we just We just know how to
Well-
tickle them in the right way.
Well, yeah, there's a certain genre of games our listeners appreciate the most. So any games that kind of fit that niche is what's gonna win.
I mean, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, that dominated the vote.
Well, that's because people expect it to be shitty. So, and they like us doing shitty games.
Yeah, if they expect a game to make us mad, that's what they're gonna pick, no matter what. Even if there's like better options.
Oh, I see my my Overwatch clip up there on your Twitter feed.
Yeah, good times. So yeah, we will be playing Sekiro, sort of.
So I guess Craig put 6 hours into it. He's the only one of us who's played it so far. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
you wanna continue? Mention anything else about that, Craig?
About Sekiro?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not fucking playing it.
Okay. There it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I played it for 6 hours. I am not good at that game. It is different enough from Dark Souls by the fact that it's not an RPG, so I can't just like upgrade my shit and do better. It is entirely a timing thing, which I am horrible at in every way. People saying that it's like a rhythm game is not that far off. I mean, it's not quite like that, but it's all about the timing of the parrying and then attacking right afterwards, which I can't do that in a boss fight where I'm fighting like 50 dudes at once while also trying to parry every fucking guy at the same time.
So your timing is just bad in every way.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like we need a
It's pretty
sitcom
bad.
where, your timing on things are just not quite right and find yourself in hilarious situations, social and whatnot.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too far off there either.
yeah. Timing, yeah. Every time we try to draw something out, Craig just drops it. It's like you're like gonna make a joke, and he'll just like finish the joke for you flatly and much too quick.
It's because your jokes are fucking shitty, all right? It's shitty and it doesn't deserve the dramatic pause to deliver your stupid fucking pun, all right?
I'm just saying, you steal it every time.
It needs to be just said, and so we can move on. All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Craig.
All right.
There you
So
go.
moving on.
So I guess we're going to move forward with Sekiro, but just have Schweiss and I attempt it. So we haven't played it, just heard a lot about it. Craig doesn't seem hopeful, but we'll start playing it and see how far we get. We have 2 months.
I mean, can you not grind really? Like,
You can grind out like skill points, but that doesn't really like increase your damage or anything. It basically, so you have like your Estus flask type thing, but you can only increase the amount of charges with like gourd seeds. So you have to like find those. I'm not sure how to get those. And then there's like little pellets that you can use that will heal you a little bit over time. There's items you can use, but they don't really. There's some that will increase your damage a little bit, but it's not enough.
so it sounds pretty similar to their other games, just less RPG like.
Yeah, it's more of an action game, to be honest. But it's you can increase like your health by baiting bosses and stuff, but that's really the only way to do that. I got there's a skill that you can buy, which increases the amount of healing that healing items will give you. Which I bought that, but like it's not enough because like your health bar is pretty tiny already, and your healing gourd will only heal you like for 40% of your health.
Well, I'm excited to get fucked by that game. We'll see how it goes.
Should.
Anything else from you this week?
Those I think are it. Yeah.
Okay. I played a tad of No Man's Sky. This weekend, I had intended to download the PS4 beta for Modern Warfare, but I never got around to it.
Oh, is the beta out?
Yeah. Yep. The open beta.
Nice.
The game comes out next month, right?
Yeah. So I think I'm still planning on grabbing it when it drops. I just don't know what platform to get it on. Well, crossplay, Greg. Crossplay. And people are
crossplay.
so they did a tournament Fuck. Anyways, where they in advertising the game between console players and PC players, and the good console players actually, that
Held their
sticky
own.
aim held, not even only held their own, but did really well against PC players. Because when it comes to PC aiming, not everyone is
Super precise.
super precise and 100% accurate. So if you take top of the line PC player who's 100% accurate, yeah, they're gonna be really good. But console for people with average aim really helps bridge that gap. And so it's not going to be a world of everyone who's on a PC immediately dominating console players. It has to be the best of the PC players that dominates the console players.
Mm.
And then
it's going to mention that that Killer Queen is coming out next month on Switch, and it's
Nice.
also going to have crossplay with PC and Xbox.
nice. Other game I played was Monster Hunter World, playing that Iceborne DLC.
How is that?
It's fun, yeah. Whole new rank to grind out now. A whole new level of weapons and armor sets to grind out.
Nice.
Might bring me back to the game for the next little bit till that's done.
What
Very good.
weapon are you using in that again? I forget.
I go between the heavy bow gun and insect glaive.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the one you
Yeah.
you liked a lot.
I think I'm gravitating more towards heavy bow gun, and I'm probably going to branch out into other weapons just because it's hard to keep the insect glaive at max DPS potential, and it's probably why it's one of the lower tier weapons. Just because
it's a lower tier weapon.
it's a lot of management to keep it at its most effective. And so a good chunk of your fighting time is spent trying to refill your speed, damage, and defense buffs, because you need all three of them procced to enter super bug glaive mode. And that's where your deeps are. So yeah, that's what I played.
Well, cool. Shit, this week's been kind of light for me. I think I played a little bit of... No, you know what? I don't think I played anything. Fuck, sorry. Except for 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. I think that's the only thing I played this week.
I played that too. I forgot to mention that.
I am almost done with that game on hard. It's very difficult,
Yeah,
very
you-
unforgiving.
You have like 4 things left, and then
Yeah.
you'll be done.
So I'm getting pretty close. So we'll have that. I'll have that done by this next week. That's been great. Good time.
Yeah, you're currently on like the hardest piece of shit part in the game, so at least it was for me.
Yeah, it's been rough at times for sure. Very rough.
Yeah, I'm impressed that you got past that helicopter part, because that was disgusting.
It was rough, man. It was really fucking hard. I died a lot, and I would just get blasted. There's just so many dudes and so many tanks
I
and so many
know.
things. Not enough time to kill them all.
I'm glad there was at least a checkpoint in that fucking level. Otherwise, I would have been super pissed.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for what we've been playing this week. The true question, the only question: what's everyone beaten this week? Greg.
50 Cent, Blood on the Sand.
Okay, 50 Cent, Blood on the Sand. Cameron, anything from you?
Nada.
All right, so
You can play that 50 Cent game.
No.
why not, man?
I'm good.
You don't wanna experience the soundtrack.
You don't want to get into rap, Cameron?
Don't want to experience that really shitty AI.
Just don't want to, go through the game unless I have to.
Dude, it really bums me out that
I
we
mean,
didn't play that co-op.
It's no bounty hunter, guys. Let's be honest.
No.
Because it's better.
Is it
Spoiler.
even is it even as bad as Alice to you?
No, it's not.
Man.
That's why it's fucking disturbing.
It's because you kind of liked it.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so Caleb finished 50 Cent, Blood on the Sand. I didn't finish anything. Cameron didn't finish anything. So, 34 for Craig, 27 for me, 12 for Cameron. That is the Nude Clan for the hosts. Guys, get your shit in for Hog. This is going to be Week 1 matchup for Hog League. So make sure you knock all that out. Get ready, get your points, and we will face off. Cool. We got a question, or do you want to talk Castlevania?
Let's just talk Castlevania.
All right. Do they do trailers for these things?
Probably. I mean, when Netflix usually has like a little tidbit that they show before like they actually release the season.
Probably should have had this pulled up before. But... All right. Oh, yeah, there's an official trailer. Okay.
No further. My generals, in killing my wife, humanity has proven to me that they don't deserve the earth. We will scour them off the land. My father, he's gone mad. And now he's going to destroy the world. Human scheme and betray. They all must die. Imagine it. A world without humans. Under endless night.
My God.
Dracula has to be destroyed. We can't fail.
Stand back.
We're all gonna die! All of us! Enough!
Man, that was a pretty good trailer, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of impressed with that. So, Castlevania Season 2 initially aired July 7th, 2000. Oh, no, that's the first season. Is that right? Oh, October 26, 2018. So they released it all at once because it's Netflix,
Yeah.
obviously. That's when Season 2 came out. Season 1, apparently July 7th, 2017. So we got it just a little over a year. And, of course, we're pretty much due for another season. I know they said they're renewing it, but I don't really know anything outside of that. It's exciting, though. I thought this was actually a really good season. Kicks off best way possible. Flashback to Dracula's past. Right? This is his wife healing people. And then the Catholics arrive, and they start kind of tearing the building apart, just kind of ripping everything down. They keep finding devices that she's using to heal these people, just medical devices of ancient make and model, and they're like consumed by the idea that this is witchcraft. And anything that they can't explain is an act of a witch. So they accuse her of being a witch, and they basically just recap the fact that Dracula's wife got killed early on in Season 1. And now it cuts to the present tense with Dracula and his armies, and he's trying to figure out a way to annihilate humanity from the world, right? His whole objective is to kill every single human.
And just leave enough for, like, herds and stuff.
He doesn't even want to do that.
Yeah.
A couple of his generals want to do that.
That's true, yeah. Forgot
And
about that.
two of his main generals...
He promised that to the one Forge Master, too.
Yeah, he did. Two of his main generals are actually humans. And...
Humans that he had come across during his previous travels around the Earth.
Yeah, when his wife told him to travel the Earth to kind of like find out how humans live, he met these two characters when he was doing that.
Yeah. So these guys are very highly trusted, and everyone is super suspicious of them because they're humans, and they're like, well, why are you here we're going to wipe out your entire race. Like, everyone's kind of confused about that, and they are very prejudiced against them for, understandable reasons, I guess. Their whole objective is to kill them all, so it doesn't make sense to have them here. We get some flashback for one of those guys. He burned his parents alive, apparently, and we kind of get a lot of backstory to these side dudes in this season. After that, though, the Wallachians are kind of taking off, leaving town because they survived the horrible attack in season 1, and some of them were just taking off. And this is when we get some Alucard in here, and he's still super stoked on the idea of killing Dracula, and he's met up by Trevor Belmont and the girl whose name...
Sypha.
Is it Sypha?
Yeah, they say like Sypha and Sypha, like both in the show. It's like weird. 2 different characters pronounce it 2 different ways.
So I don't know. I don't know why they pronounce the name so weirdly in there. Because I thought it was hearing like Cypher.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know, dude. So him and the chick, Trevor and his girl, go meet up. And then we find out that one of the generals is a necromancer. And of course, they both end up being necromancers. What we find out first for one of them, and he's like bringing the dead back to life, and that's what turns him into the imp creatures that we saw ravaging the town at the end of season 1. So that's kind of like the big twist in the first episode.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Armies of undead.
Yeah, armies of the undead are being used. So second episode kicks off. We got Trevor Belmont. He wants to go to his estate. Because everyone wants to kill Dracula. Everyone wants to end this conflict. That's the only way to do it is to kill the guy on the top.
And they're hoping something in the estate would help them figure out how to do that.
Yeah, because the Belmonts, of course, they've been fighting vampires for generations, right? So he's convinced there's going to be something there that's going to help out. This is when we get introduced into another baddie for the show with Carmela, who joins the council that Dracula has put together, and Dracula notes that she's super late, but then she immediately denounces him for his actions, like he's like not organized and shit like that, and she just kind of tries to put him in his place right away, and Dracula's not having it, and kind of pulls her off to the side. And they have their own little banter, and she's obviously going to be a power player in the show for the rest of the series, probably. And that's kind of where we end with those guys. We get some patrol of the night creatures. They're just out like hunting down people, and Alucard and Belmont and Sypha, fucking whatever, end up putting their skills to the test and kill a bunch of night dudes. But one of the dudes survives and actually flies back to warn the castle that like Alucard is out there.
Right, and that was the flying dude and the spear dude, right?
Yeah.
And that's like a direct one of the bosses from one of the games.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, a lot of the enemies that appear in the show are creatures that appear in the games.
Like notable creatures are often like the bosses, right?
Yeah. Or just like random enemies that will appear.
Was the one with the blindfold on, was that one in Symphony of the Night? The bird with the blindfold?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I think I remember that, actually. So, yeah.
The first season, there was that creature, there was the 2 creatures that was one of the first bosses you fight in Symphony of the Night, too.
Okay. So, Isaac, one of the necromancer guys, what did you call him? What is their in-show thing?
What?
The necromancer guys, what are they?
The Forge Masters?
Yeah, Forge Masters. That's what they call them in here. One of them is like disturbingly whipping himself because he's masochistic, I guess. And he ends up finding the surviving beast that returns to the castle. And that's kind of where we end the second episode. So it's kind of like, oh, they're going to find out that these guys are out and about and try to go back and kill them. So episode 3 starts out again with a flashback. And this is for Hector. He resurrects his dog as a child. So he finds this dog, and I assume it's his dog, that's got like its eye pecked out, and like its insides out and all that shit. And he kind of brings it back to life because he's a Forge Master. He's able to do that, right? And he goes and he brings it into his house, and his parents freak the fuck out pretty much.
Yeah, as one would.
Yeah, for a dead dog that came back to life, right? Some real Pet Cemetery kind of shit going on. So Carmela then is trying to get Hector to dispense of troops to find Belmont and his estate, and to search for weaponry. So she's really trying to turn everybody against Dracula, because Dracula, he doesn't really have a united front or anything like that. It's all just chaos and madness.
It's just like no real direction in the way they want the war against humans to go.
Yeah, and she's got a real fucking problem with that. For obvious reasons.
She doesn't have a problem with that. Everybody else does, and she's using that to like take Dracula's position.
Yeah, to take power. Yeah, because all of the vampires are very unruly at this point, because they don't know what's going on. Dracula seems to want to kill everybody, and then they're like, "Well, we can't kill everybody because then what are we going to eat?" You know, and one of the guys is like, "Oh, I'm sick of eating pig's blood because it gives me the shits." You know,
God brand.
Yeah, and so
Good old God brand.
So these guys are getting really unruly. His court's becoming very turned against him, and you know, she knows that. Carmela knows that, so she's going to use it to her advantage and try to take the castle pretty much. And she promises Hector that conditions would be humane for the putting down of all the humans, and he kind of doesn't want them all to be wiped out. So Trevor arrives at his estate, his family home, his ancient family house. The chick opens the door with the magic, and they kind of like spend a while in the library just arsenaling up, getting books.
Trying to figure out how to defeat Dracula.
Yeah. And then Trevor actually finds the Morning Star in here, which of course is the epic whip that we get in most of the Castlevania games.
That actually kind of bothers me, because that whip is in the games is called the Vampire Killer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's the tip, like the metal, like actual ball that's supposed to be called the Morning Star.
Huh.
But the whip itself is the Vampire Killer.
Oh, well, I guess calling the whole thing Morning Star kind of makes more sense, though.
Yeah. That's fair. So, yeah, he finds his ultimate weapon. So then we cut back to the vampires. Godbrand is convinced that Dracula's movements will extinct them. So he's convinced, like, if we get rid of all the humans, we're going to run out of blood and we're going to die ourselves. Like, I don't want that. He's starting to get really unruly. And Carmela confronts him and tells him that she won't serve an old man. She, like, remembers her past where she served some old vampire lord, and he used to be really cool, but then he, like, started getting lazier and lazier and crappier over time, and she ended up killing him and leaving him. And she came here with Dracula because Dracula is part of the new movement. You know, there's this new political idea going on amongst the vampire community, so she's interested. But she goes, and she sees that it's kind of going to be the same old for her. And, she's not interested in that at all. And so she's really, really starting to try to take over now. She's convinced herself that, like, she's got to put a stop to this. It's not going to be a repeat of last time. So that's the end of that one. Episode 4, we got Godbrand. Yeah, He talks about his hate of pig blood in here, and that's a pretty funny little scene. And Carmela tries to turn Hector and calls Dracula a confused man. And this is where we find out that Dracula lied about the culling. So for Hector, he thought that Dracula was going to reduce the population to a controlled amount and refuse to let them take up arms against the vampires ever again, right? So they want to keep them small enough that they don't start trouble.
Right.
But now he realizes that Dracula is going to kill every fucking buddy, and he has no remorse. There's no breeding or no feeding grounds that are going to be set up. It's all just to kill. And that doesn't really sit right with him because he didn't want that at all. And, of course, Carmela wants to take the castle. We get a flashback to Isaac. And Isaac knows the truth. He knows that Dracula wants to end the human race.
He's totally chill with it.
Yeah, he's
In
down.
fact, loves it.
Yeah. Dracula then knows he's starting to like figure out that there's all this unrest going on in his court, and he's going to have to start
Really
taking
poor
moves.
management by Dracula.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. He just wants them all dead, and it's a very vague idea.
And that's basically kind of the way he's been running. Is like, go kill humans. Or like, well, if we did it like this and that, and then we could do it any more efficiently. Nope, just I don't care. Just go kill them.
Yeah, really simple-minded rage and hate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
you can see like the fire's kind of burned out of him. He's just super depressed now.
Yeah. And then the vampires end up going nuts on this little town out there, too, to kind of let their blood, to just get out and do shit. And they kind of went around Dracula's back for that. And then Godbrand actually ends up getting slain by Isaac after admitting his traitorous intentions. So he's basically comes to him and he's like, look, man, this isn't going to work out. We need to take over. This guy's old. He's crazy, and he's going to kill us all.
Is it at what point did Carmela try to convince Hector to her side to get Hector to betray Dracula? Is that before or after Isaac kills Godbrand?
It's before.
Okay. Yeah, so there's that point, too, where since Hector is a little bit softer, she tries to get Hector, to see, Dracula's not doing this right, and to create some army of undead that's loyal to Carmela.
Yeah, that's where the idea comes from. So Godbrand's dead. Sad day. So episode 5, Hector and Isaac discuss providing guidance. Hector wants to have a plan. Isaac kind of agrees, and Isaac's kind of playing Hector at this point because he knows he doesn't trust Hector because he sees Hector's humanity as a weakness. He's fully embraced this ideology of humans are lesser and must be wiped out, and they set up a plan and they kind of play each other a little bit as it goes on.
So Isaac's really the only one who's 100% behind
he's
Dracula.
the only truly loyal person in the entire castle.
And then Hector trying to find out more, and then maybe trying to convince Isaac to, let's help Dracula. So Hector's always coming at it from a let's help Dracula point of view.
Yeah.
Not 100% betraying Dracula.
Yeah.
But Isaac knows, and he's talking to Dracula and is like, yeah, they're not really they haven't betrayed you yet, but they're just unrestful, so they want an actual plan. So they don't turn against you, basically. And so that's why he goes along with Hector's plan to kind of take over this one city, so that they could lock the humans in place, so they couldn't escape from another route.
And that didn't go entirely to plan.
Yeah, because at that point, Siffa discovers how to capture the castle and then bring it to where she wants it to be, and then lock it in that place.
And part of it, that the river around that city too, I think, wasn't it blessed?
Yes, so Carmilla gets Hector to revive the priest that killed Dracula's wife.
Yeah,
and then she has him bless the water, so it's holy water. And then she has her forces attack the remaining forces that are inside of Dracula's castle, while his forces try and go subdue the humans.
Right. So there's that inner conflict within Dracula's castle. Kind of finally comes to a head with this move. Where Carmilla makes her move, and now her troops are since Dracula's lost a lot of his troops to that event with the holy water.
It's right after they bless the river that Siffa captures the castle and brings it to the Belmont.
Yeah, so it's right as they're storming the castle, right as that's happening, Siffa then calls the castle location, and boom, it lands.
Yeah,
and there's a kind of a funny reaction scene where Carmilla's like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah. So Belmont Estate gets under attack, is under attack as well, and they end up uncovering the translation of some ancient text, which allows them to kind of move forward and figure out what they need to do. So there's a lot of intrigue going on in the Belmont Estate. But that's where that one ends. Episode 6, Belmont prepares to fight the demons while others kind of start repairing the teleport mirror thingy that's in there, apparently. And that allows
she needs
them
to see the castle in order to like grab it, basically. So he needs to use the mirror of vision or whatever they called it, so that he could see the castle before they moved it.
Right.
And so he's repairing that while Trevor starts fighting off the creatures that are trying to get at him, while she's preparing the spell so that she can grab the castle and move it to right where they are.
Oops. Yeah. That's the whole objective of her, which is kind of a dumb idea because, and they find this out later.
Yeah, she realizes that she ported the castle to right above them, and they're standing like in a hollow space.
Yeah, underground.
Yeah. And
It eventually,
it can't support the weight.
I mean, it holds strangely. But yeah, that's
it
one
wasn't
of the fears.
like directly on top of them, but it was like partially on top of them, I think is why.
Okay.
But part of it does like start caving in as soon as like it like lands there, so they have to get out of there as quickly as they can because they don't want to be destroyed.
Yeah.
As one, would.
Yeah. So,
but then there's that awesome fight scene all the way up that stairwell too, as they're trying to escape.
Yeah, that is pretty sweet.
Yeah, they resurrect the Archbishop, like we said, and he blesses the water, and then this is where Carmela really turns on Dracula.
Yeah.
She wipes out like most of his army because they're coming out to join the war, join the conflict, and Carmela just tears down the bridge that they're walking across, and after the water's been blessed with holy water, it'll kill all vampires that it touches, right?
Yep.
So she's basically springing a huge trap on Dracula's ass, and it does some serious damage. They attack. The mirror actually transports the castle where it needed to go, and Carmela's army ends up getting knocked out too because the castle ends up like almost being like teleport dragged across the land, and it lands in the water. And then when it teleports away from the water, it creates a tsunami, essentially, and it just, like, wipes out tons of her dudes.
Yeah, that whole part was cool with the way they did that, the teleport drag effect.
Yeah, and it was sweet watching all those dudes get fucking nuked on.
Yeah, so Carmela's left in that city with still a good chunk of her own forces, her own people, and then a good chunk of her people were left inside the castle as well, trying to perform the coup inside there.
Hector is also left outside with Carmela and her army.
Yeah, because Hector eventually did kind of betray Dracula.
Yeah.
He went along with Carmela.
He just didn't fully realize what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because they like to discuss this in the show, is that they kind of think Hector has
naive
the mind of a child.
Childlike,
Yeah, he's a little tarded when it comes to this kind of shit. So he's basically now stuck with her, and he realizes that he knows that he can't go anywhere. He's got to be with her. And that's kind of where episode 6 finishes. 7
is when everything happens.
Yeah, really great episode here. Alucard, Trevor, and Syphilis. They escape the estate, and they waste.
I was waiting for that.
What?
For him to call her syphilis.
Yeah.
I mean, it is spelled similarly.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. So they waste the remaining vampires. And
so they walk up, notice that there's like some infighting going on, which is a bit strange. But then, as soon as they start making their way in,
as soon as humans walk in, everybody starts fighting them.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck? These 3 humans? What are they just walking in here?
So they all kind of align to take on these guys, and we have a really epic
there's still
fight scene.
some kind of like fighting amongst the vampires in the background too. But epic fight scene.
Yeah,
all the generals start fighting with them, and then Alucard uses his sword. Sypha starts blasting him with magic.
Sypha has some really cool moves and scenes here. I think she kind of steals the show with her magic going on.
She like immediately annihilates one of the generals.
She does the ice spikes thing, and then does the ice wall that just fucking slices a vampire in half, and does the huge obliteration move on one of the generals. Alucard has this fucking cool sword that just he doesn't actually have to hold to be awesome. He just fucking
Floats around
goes
him.
wherever he wants it to.
Yeah, doesn't he have that in the game too?
Not in Symphony of the Night. No.
I think I've seen it before though. Not in Symphony, but
maybe.
And then
Trevor's
Trevor.
using the magic of the Morning Star, starts blasting fireballs out of it when he's using the whip, and he's like doing some sweet moves with it.
yeah. So awesome fight scene. Everyone was waiting for this to happen. It was so good.
Yep, they destroy all the generals. They kill most of the vampires in there. They make it to. They start making their way to where Dracula is. Dracula at this point is kind of just sitting in his study, and Isaac breaks in. He's like, "Dude, we got to get out of here. They're gonna try and kill you, but I'll defend this place while you leave." And
Yeah.
Dracula's like, "You're the most loyal one. I don't want you to die." And so he grabs him and throws him into the desert. Through the mirror so that Isaac doesn't get fucked. And then Dracula meets up with Alucard. They start fighting. Eventually, he starts beating the shit out of him until he gets to where they meet in Alucard's childhood
This
room.
is such a good stark contrast from the fight scene before, where these three walk up and just fucking destroy everyone in their first room. All those high-level vampires, whatever, just leveled. Then they get to this part where they have to go fight Dracula, and he is something else other than
even
those other
without
vampires.
having being feeding, and he's not at full strength. He's beating the shit out of all of
it
them.
is they could hardly do anything to him. He's a god among vampires.
yeah, wasn't the thing in Oblivion is that the longer you went without feeding, the stronger you were?
That was in Oblivion, yeah, but that's not how it is in Castlevania, I guess. They make a note that Dracula hasn't been feeding at all. He's basically just wanting to die, so that's why he's all depressed and just sitting there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need.
But he's
watch
still,
him wipe the floor with only
strong.
10% of his full power.
Yeah, the anime trope. So he's not at full strength, but he still beats the shit out of him. He eventually the fight leads to Alucard's room where he starts fighting Alucard in there. And then he stops for a moment and realizes that he's killing his own child in his own room. And he walks over to a picture of his wife and starts talking to it and is freaking out.
Yeah,
And
well,
that's-
the big thing now is he's up to this point. Dracula's kind of been able to disassociate his son with his mission that he's taking part in, right?
Yeah.
He was able to say, no, he's just a little bastard that's going against my wishes, and he's just blindly following this idea that he has about what to do with the human race. And he finds himself, and you're right, in his son's room, and then he looks around and he realizes what he's doing, and this is actually really, really well done in this fucking show, and he sees a picture of his wife and his son, and he picks it up and he's like, what am I doing? He's like, I'm killing our child, we made this child together and I'm in his room killing him. What the fuck is wrong with me,
Right.
And
it's he's doing half of this because he despises humanity for what they did to his wife, and then for him to then slaughter his son at the same time, just he could not do it because this whole reason is because of her, and he's a part of her.
Yeah,
he's a part of him.
Yeah, and it's pretty impressive. I was very impressed with this episode of the show.
Yeah, and that's when Alucard breaks off a piece of his bed and then slowly just stabs Dracula with it so that he could die.
Yeah,
yes, I had to stake him first.
Yep. And then Dracula, he starts spazzing out, and then he starts walking towards Alucard, and then his head gets just taken off.
And then Trevor cuts off his head because he was trying to stop because Alucard couldn't do anything more.
Yeah,
because he didn't like that he had to kill his dad.
Yeah, and then
Sifa has to burn the body because it could come back or whatever.
Yeah, and then afterwards
which releases a weird darkness.
Yeah, they had a really good point because Alucard was kind of mourning the fact that his dad died. He's like, well, I mean, he was a monster, but he was still my dad, and they had a really good line there. They they said it's like kill the murderer, but weep for the man is kind of the idea behind it, and that's really, I don't know, that really goes beyond a lot of the things that a lot of what we do now as a culture. You know, like when somebody fucks up, you know, like if we have like a Michael Jackson thing where he might have raped kids and stuff, like people still love his music and stuff like that, but it's kind of the opposite. Like you weep for the loss of the music, but you despise what the man did, you know. And I feel like that's a good representation of what we should try to do, is sort of disassociate people in some regard, because like, yeah, they might do horrible things, but like if your dad does horrible stuff, he's still your dad, you know. And there's a certain level of like,
I mean, I think it fits more on a personal level rather than on a general scale.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
and it fits more on a definitely on a personal level, because I don't know, it's just weird, especially if the medium that they're bringing to the world is also what helped them do the thing that they were doing.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I just thought that was a really impressive way to approach it. You know, because
it's a very personal thing where you can say, you know, you can have a parent that, you know, you have good memories being raised, they were the best parent, and then things start to turn south and your relationship's not as bad. You can, you know, still love your parent for who, you know, how they raised you and who they were, but you don't necessarily have to
love what they've done.
Become. So
and Trevor and Sypha try to help him get through it. Trevor in a poor way, because he's like, you know, stop whining, we saved the world.
Yeah.
And then Sypha's like, what he's trying to say is like, you can cry for him, but we did save like billions of lives.
Yeah, so it was the right thing to do, but that doesn't mean it was an easy thing to do, you know. So really, really good episode of TV right there. That's like probably the best thing Netflix has ever done, as far as I can tell.
Easily, episode 7 by itself. Just,
whew. I mean, I was impressed. I kind of wish it would have ended there, honestly.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I like the wind down, though. I really do.
They have to have like that after stuff too.
Yeah.
Because they're like, that's not where the show ends.
No, yeah.
Like they continue it, and they got to show you what's going to happen next. So,
but
that would have been an impressive place to end it.
So the next episode basically starts with like Isaac being in the desert and like wrapping up what's happening with him.
Yeah,
he's in the exiled lands. That's where
he went to the fucking the Conan verse. He's gonna start making some Wheels of Pain.
Yeah, Schweiss has forever changed. He now looks at things through Conan's eyes.
Yeah. And then so he like starts making an army of his own of monsters, and then Hector and Carmilla has Hector like caged, basically.
Yeah, he's just a slave now.
He's a slave for her now, so he's gonna make her an army. And then,
no, man, at first I was wondering how you can have a season to follow up on this. Where are you going to go? But they put down the groundwork for it. And I feel like it's going to be great.
Two different bad guys set up, which
that
is
are probably going to be
they're
probably going to be fighting each other. That's what it's going to be.
Isaac is by himself is fucking sweet as a bad guy, and like Carmilla has that kind of like Cersei kind of vibe to her. So like that'll be interesting too. And then it also kind of wraps up for Alucard, Trevor, and Sypha, where Trevor's like, "Hey, you know, take care of my home.
He's like,
where your home is.
This is your home now. This is you are now." And did he make him an honorary Alucard or something?
Because Alucard is he's basically saying that he's going to stay in the castle,
honorary
and it's going to become his tomb or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're both like, "Hey, don't make this your home, not your tomb."
Yeah.
And so
I give it to you. Everything that Belmont ever was, I'm going to give to you.
Yeah, so pretty big moment there. And I mean, Belmont doesn't seem to really care. He's like, "Yeah, I'm out of here." Like, yeah, go ahead. Here's all this shit. And then, you know, it kind of gives Alucard like a renewed sense of
purpose.
Yeah, of purpose.
It gives him a kind of place to be.
Yeah.
that he could benefit the most from the tombs of knowledge within the Belmont place.
The knowledge
The
of his
combined knowledge
people
between
and
the
of
vampires and the
human-
Belmonts.
Yeah.
Ho, ho.
Yeah, yeah. And then like in the watering hole with Isaac, he gets jumped by. I think it's dude. I swear to God, like the voice actor is the
It's,
Gideon Emery guy that voices Balthier.
Brom or Balthier.
Yeah,
I thought of Brom when I heard him. I don't know why.
what's Brom?
Game of Thrones. Not Brom. What's his name?
Bronn?
Bronn, yeah.
It sounds like that guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's the guy who voices Balthier, though. I'm like pretty sure
It might
of that.
be.
But yeah, they approach him. They like give him shit. They're super racist. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna enslave you," and then Isaac's like, "Oh yeah, I don't fucking think so," and he kills everybody brutally. And then he starts
Turns them
bringing
into
them
monsters.
Yeah, he brings them back to life, and he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna create my own army." Assuming, I mean, of course, we're left to assume that he's gonna continue
I'm going to
Dracula's
wipe
work.
out the world.
Yeah. So he's the new really big bad guy. And then, of course, we get the stuff with Hector and Carmela where she captures them. And, like, that's his destiny now is to create an army for her. So they're both kind of back to doing what they do and creating these armies. They really came full circle with this. Very opposite sides. And I'm sure they're going to have a conflict between those two.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there has to be.
Because of the betrayal of Dracula.
I wonder how
Yeah,
far
and-
Isaac will get with his destruction and building up of it. It's basically, like you said, Carmela's Cersei, and fucking Isaac is the White Walker. The White Walker King.
Kind of.
Where he's just
Yeah.
the wave of death that's just coming everywhere. So I wonder how far he's going to get before there's a clash between the two.
There's also the thing with Trevor and Sypha where they kind of like start a relationship.
Yeah.
Which they're supposed to because that continues the line of the Belmonts.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it ends, and that's how it kind of leaves it open for the next season, which leaves a lot of, speculation on like what they're going to do. Are they going to continue with Trevor being the bad guy or being the Belmont?
So
and
do you
the
feel
hero?
like the next season it'll be Trevor's and Sifa's son who's the next Belmont to work again with Alucard?
I think it might skip a couple 100 years or so,
But
or like
what
a
about
few
Isaac? He's still
For
human.
season 3?
decades.
Isaac's still human. I mean, they set it up to
Yeah, he's still
between Isaac
human,
and-
but
yeah.
I think that like something will happen where somebody else will take over for him. I don't know exactly where it's gonna go. That's the thing. Like,
because I can see them having a gap of maybe 30, 40 years, maybe,
yeah,
and then it's Isaac still being the old necromancer who built up the army of dead to finish.
yeah, because
his
he's a
work, and then-
necromancer. I kind of
And then
think he's gonna
Carmela
be
being
immortal or something.
firmly seated in her power now to be the, part of the triangle.
Yeah.
And then that's enough time for Trevor's and Sifa's son to be the Belmont.
Technically, the next game in the series, like after the one that this takes place in, is Curse of Darkness, which I haven't played yet, so I have no idea what the story for that one is. Which it could follow that storyline, and that one's 3 years after what happens in Dracula's Curse, which is what
Right.
this whole thing was. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm excited though. I mean, they haven't announced a date as far as I could tell. It just said coming soon on the Netflix thing.
I looked online just a little bit for season 3, and people thought it was going to be announced when it was in August, because that's when it was announced before, and people had thought that might stick to an October release date because that's what they've been doing. But there's no word about it yet, so who knows?
Yeah, Netflix has been
I
fucking
kind
up
of
a
hope
lot.
they do just a surprise release, and they're like, "Hey, it's out now!" Like, sometime in October.
Yeah, that would be nice and fitting because of the Halloween
Yeah.
shit. But I don't know. They could have done that with.
Yeah, I felt like they released because Stranger Things followed like a October release thing as well, but they didn't do that this time.
I'm also hoping they give them more episodes to do seasons with.
Yeah. Just a little bit more time to
at least
mix more character development and action kind of simultaneously throughout.
Yeah, at least a full like anime season of like 12 episodes. Like they had that kind of partially with the 4 episodes of the first season and 8 of season 2.
Right.
So full 12 I feel like would be good. There's a lot of people that complained about how long season 2 took, just like because they
perfect.
felt like it had weird pacing just because like it was all compared to the first season.
Yeah,
but like
it's first season of 4 episodes.
The first season is like 4 episodes and it has to like set up the world immediately, and then the second season is like, okay, now we got to build up these characters, and then of course they have like the excellence that is episode 7. So I mean I feel like it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It kind of like helps build up the world too, with all the little mentions they have of like what vampire weaknesses are.
Yeah,
like so they kind of talk a little bit about running water and stuff, and like holy water and like a various
and like
other
it's
things.
got a weird like level of myth to it too. Like some of it they don't know if it's true or not because they haven't tried for a while.
Yeah, like they mentioned that there's like no handbook to being a vampire, so they have no idea like what the extents of their powers are, like what their weaknesses are. They don't exactly know the fullness of what they are.
Yeah, which is kind of an interesting concept, but I don't know. They didn't really play too much on it. They just all died instead.
For the most part, yeah. At least all the generals and stuff. Carmilla is still alive. I mean, it is Castlevania, so Isaac may be searching for a way to revive Dracula. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities that could happen.
Does Dracula get revived in the games?
Yes. You remember how Castlevania Symphony of the Night, how he was in there? Actually, you wouldn't know that because you didn't beat Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Of course they did. Beat it just fine.
There's the previous game, Rondo of Blood, where he plays Richter Belmont. Dracula is revived in that, and he beats Dracula in that one. And then Symphony of the Night is directly after that. Symphony of the Night takes place in the game verse like 320 years after the storyline of what's going on in the show.
Oh, okay.
So
Trevor's dead.
Well, yeah, Trevor will be long dead, yes. By then.
Okay. Final thoughts. I mean, I thought it was great. I think this is a really solid television show. I'm excited to see what they do next. This is a lot of really high highs, though. I'd be surprised if the season 3 was able to live up to it, but I don't see why not. I mean,
they have all the characters there that they could easily do this stuff with. They kind of spent the entire season building them up, especially like Hector, Carmilla, Isaac, and then just the main trio.
Yeah. I hope they add some more really good side characters. I thought they were really fleshed out.
Yeah, like Godbrand and a few of the other ones.
Yeah, Godbrand and Carmella were really good. I don't know. I thought this was a really good, really fun time. And I mean, Alex watched it with me, and she said she's going to watch season 1 now. Like, so she's really into it too.
Yeah.
And it's really fast to watch too. It was only like 4 hours to do the whole season 2. Like, that's not too bad.
Yeah, just the quality of this.
It's amazing.
The artwork, the storytelling, like fucking everything is great. It really makes me excited for season 3 and also for the Devil May Cry anime that this director is doing too.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that.
I kind of want to see what he does after doing Castlevania. So
hopefully he does it Game of Thrones Castlevania for Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
I don't know how he would do that.
Just release one final terrible season to end it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So we can work on Devil May Cry.
I think Devil May Cry is supposed to be happening
Star Wars.
soon.
Yeah.
I think that's why Castlevania might be delayed because he's doing Devil May Cry at the same time. So they might get pretty close releases. So we'll have to do a review on both of them as soon as they come out.
That might be a good or a bad thing. Quality of either could suffer because of the split attention.
I don't know if the same writers are working on both, but I know he's directing both.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Excited for it to come out.
Yeah.
Castlevania Season 3. I don't know about Devil May Cry. Just have to watch it and see how I feel about it.
Yeah, I hope that sometime in October they're like, hey, surprise, here it is.
Yeah, I mean, we got that. We've got the Witcher TV show that Netflix is doing.
Didn't they?
A little bit on the fence about that right now, but yeah.
Didn't they put out a release date on accident for that?
Maybe. I don't know what it is.
I think I saw like an article being like, oh, Netflix accidentally told us when it's coming. But yeah, so Season 3 will be great.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see where this series goes, like, because it seems to be starting with the very beginning of Castlevania as far as where the game's timeline is.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, eventually down the line, we could have, like, Season 13 and have it be the Symphony of the Night storyline.
Do you think it would really this could really run for 13 seasons? Probably.
I mean, it's like, if they keep up the quality, people will watch it.
I feel like these Netflix originals usually don't last very long.
No, they don't. But like the anime ones seem to be doing really well for them, and they don't really cost as much as doing.
But anime is also famous for looking like, ending a season with a normal cliffhanger, thinking that you're going to get something else coming, but nope, just done.
Well, that's because that's Japanese TV. They base whether or not you get the next season off of whether or not you bought the DVDs that they release. That's how they make their money. They make their money off the DVD sales instead of off of the commercials and network like we do it. So,
unfortunate,
because I think their TV is owned by the government. So they don't do commercials in that way.
Then you'd think they'd do a lot more just advertising on TV and then just selling it rather than airing their episodes on TV.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why a lot of shows that I like have been canceled because not enough people bought them DVDs.
Fucking, why would you when it's so available online?
Fucking Japanese people not continuing my TV shows.
Yeah.
Is there any release date for The Witcher, you see?
Late 2019 is when it's set to come out.
So sometime in December or November.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's all I got for that. When I was talking about that Resident Evil Outbreak game that they were going to make?
Yeah.
Dude.
It's not Outbreak, dude.
I know. It's Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I
How
know. That's what I fucking said.
That? Fuck. It should have been Outbreak, bro. Outbreak's already better than Dead by Daylight. Why would you make it Dead by Daylight?
I mean, they have the option to do it. I mean, they got the Lickers, they got Mr. X, they got like a bunch of stuff that you could play as and have in that environment.
I mean, you can apparently change into each zombie. So that I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Just having one zombie you can hide.
I think what I read about it is like the person who plays as the other side controls like where the zombies are going to attack you from. So like you're basically in the building and you have to try and escape the building by solving puzzles and doing whatever else as the main characters, but the other person like controls like the zombies are going to attack like these windows, they're going to attack here, they're going to attack here, and then they can send in like Mr. X. They could do like all sorts of things to try and stop you from escaping the room. So it does sound pretty sweet.
It sounds better than Dead by Daylight for
you
sure.
You can also, as the main characters, use weapons, which immediately makes it nice. So you can kind of defend yourself against the hordes instead of just Dead by Daylight where you have to run away.
I'm excited to... Hopefully they have like real bullshit weaponry like an Outbreak. You just find like a metal pipe.
What was that zombie game that we played a little bit of where there was the human team and then someone would spawn as a zombie and slowly kill the human team, and then as you got killed, then you would be the zombie as well. But
was it Halo?
No, not like that.
It's the Halo game mode.
Certain like more powerful zombies had like more powers. Maybe was it Left 4 Dead, like a multiplayer where it was humans versus players type?
We did Killing Floor 2 a little bit.
Was it Killing Floor?
I don't I don't think the other you turned into a zombie.
No,
No, it wasn't Killing Floor.
Not
But there was like it started out as 2 teams, and you had to try to survive as humans for as long as possible, doing objectives, while the other team was zombies, and there was various different kinds of zombies you could spawn as.
I don't know. That sounds kind of like what this is, though.
Yeah, so Dead by Daylight is your survival horror where you have one super powerful zombie, but let me.
I don't really recall a game like that.
I remember. Oh well, I'll look for
I
it.
signed up for the beta,
Of what?
the closed beta for Resistance.
Oh.
I don't know. I might get in. I might not. I'm excited to try to. I mean, see what it's like. Let you guys all know. But I'll probably buy it when it comes out anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope there's more to it than that. I don't know. Like, the puzzles and stuff will make it fun, at least. Because with Dead by Daylight, it's not really a puzzle. It's just a timing minigame. And, like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
just
gotta
got
get
really...
up all the generators. If they added more ways to escape, that would be cool. Other than just like the little escape hatch that exists after one person is the only one left.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to address that in this new Resident Evil game. Like, what do you do when there's only one guy left? Like,
I mean, you
I
could
don't know.
still solve the puzzles by yourself.
that's true. Maybe they'll just leave that part alone and they'll just not have the little escape hatch and you just have to do the objective still. I don't know. I think I'm pretty excited for it still, even though it's not what I wanted it to be.
I wonder if it's going to be like the first part of the Resi 2 remake, where you're just trying to escape the police building. So, like, after you get all the little medallions thing, you can get down the stairs. I wonder if it's going to be something like that.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm excited to go back and see those classic areas again, though, because it's probably going to be just old Resident Evil areas.
That
As
would be
always.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, and as long as we have multiple maps and stuff like that, I think it'll be a better game than Dead by Daylight, probably. It just sucks because those games, like, it was a lot of fun, but, like, it was a lot of fun for, like, 3 nights, and then we were done. And so, like, a new game coming out that's
Yeah.
similar, I'm hesitant.
It's just like after you figured out what the fuck you're supposed to be doing, and I don't know, just
Well, it also bothers me that Dead by Daylight doesn't let you, like, go online as a group. 'Cause
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like
so
that
fucking
we
dumb.
we could get back into it that way, but because we don't.
Why would I want to go online? Because to play the real game, you have to play it online, right?
Yeah.
That's like where the
Yeah.
consumables go away and all of that. Why would I want to go online without my friends? Like, why would you want that?
But then again, yeah, it's just like maybe make it to where if you're playing online with the group, then you're always going to have to be the survivors, and never one of your group can ever be the killer. But can't you just matchmake where you're only matchmaking as survivor, only matchmaking as killer?
I think so.
No, I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
think-
you can. You can.
If you're by yourself,
Yeah.
but not as a group.
Yeah, so
Nothing as a group. Nothing.
Could you imagine a thing of Dead by Daylight where you have like 20 survivors and like 3 or 4 killers at the same time?
That would be fun. It's just an orgy fest of death until
Be
you
like, get the fuck away!
until you cut down most of them, and then it becomes like strategic hunting.
yeah, maybe if there was a way to incapacitate a killer for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you the Resident Evil game will do that because they already have that for most of their fights. There's
Well, they
some way
always
to
like
stagger.
beat the killer in some arbitrary way in the fucking like slasher films or whatever. So like,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, it kind of works, yeah.
Why not like grab a voodoo doll of Jason and have that be the way to incapacitate him for like a little bit?
Yeah. That's all I really had, though, as far as like news and new stuff that I've heard. I don't know. I'm excited to get it and see what it's like, but I don't know. I might get into the beta. I'm not sure, like, if they email you right away or like how those really work. I've never really gotten in. So.
I think they email you like a week before they actually start the beta.
Oh, okay. So I might have some time then. But yeah, I'll probably pick it up. Be a good time. I'm still worried, though. I'm still worried it's too Dead by Daylight-y. but like I don't know. I just hope it's not 60. Like $60 would be too much for that kind of game.
Yeah.
It's totally going to be 60.
And it will be.
You know it will.
Yeah, probably. Fucking hell.
There's no reason why they would have it be less.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not. All right, well, you guys got anything else?
No,
No.
It's kind of a short episode, but
a little bit, but
you know, takes as long as it takes. Yeah. Guys, get your hog in. Hog League begins now. So I'm going to track how many points you have now. And then next week, I'm going to track how many points you have then. And that'll be your weekly points. So get your shit done. Keep on it. I'm going to keep bugging you
Doing
guys.
any face-offs, or is it just everybody versus everybody?
I'll do a face-off after this. I got to still make a map for the teams who are playing each other. But
All right.
yeah, I think that's it for now.
perfect.
Cool. Well, we'll get into that in just a sec. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Hogib the Second Coming is here. So, first week matchups. Schweiss's Sweatmeisters versus the Dukes of Death. You got Abrat cracks the whip against the most offensive. That doesn't count against Rominger's Rompers. The Stepmotherfuckers against Matunica's Heroes. And Thy Chase Squad against A for last place. Guys, get your hog in, get your points, represent your team. You guys should know whose team you're on. If not, join the Discord. It's pinned to the Nude Clan Twitter. It's very easy. We got lots of activity in there involving the hog and other various Nude Clan items. So, also, I want to make a clarification. I saw a particular user counting books that they read to their children as a book on the hog. Now, very admirable to read your kids some bedtime stories, but those books are supposed to be novels, and a novel is clarified by a specific page count or word count, and kids' books don't quite do that. But my suggestion is you log them as comics, because comics we've already established are books for children, so you can throw those on there. So if you've done that, please change those back, and I'll make sure to make note of that when I'm tallying up the points for the week as well, so you won't short your team. Because basically all I do is just copy the current points and then compare it to whatever points you have when I pull the numbers for the matchup. So I'll make sure to account for that when I do that. So if you've done that, great, it's awesome that you're doing that, but let's recount them as comics, because it's mostly about the amount of effort and time it takes to do the specific media. So a CD is usually about 45 minutes to an hour long, but you don't really have to be doing much while consuming that media. Kids books, I think we're going to go with comic book for that, because it's a little more involved than like an album, but it's not 10,000 words or whatever, which is what I think that's around the thing for a novel. But yeah, the books section is supposed to be for novels. Audiobooks are a little more loose, just because there are so many of them that are so long, and then there are some that are 6 to 10 hours long, and that's just an average game. But yeah, so make sure you change that up. But guys, get your hog in, get your points, and I'm excited to see what we can do for Season 2. Yeah, well, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Live always in the nude.
No!